Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is The Legend of the Mystical Ninja, aka Goemon, for the Super Nintendo. This is an interesting little game. You have some Zelda-style action, but you also have some side-scrolling action as well. And Goemon has been a pretty interesting series for Konami. It's obviously been more popular in Japan than it's been in the West. Though we in the West did get a few games in the series, not just this one, but also, more notably, Legend of the Mystical Ninja for the N64, also known as just Goemon 64. And it's a quirky little series, but it's still pretty likable. And apparently you get kicked back to the Konami screen if you leave the title screen on long enough. Okay. Sure, game. Well, we can play with 1 or 2 players, and we can continue with the password if you so choose. But I'm just going to start with 1 player, because why not? And as soon as we start the game, we get a cutscene. Hey, Kid Ying, have you heard the news? I haven't listened to sport. I mean, what are you talking about? You know, about that beautiful girl. Oh, you mean the ghost woman? Of the what? Of the temple? Yeah, that's the one. Something terrible has happened. Oh no. Hey, no close-ups. That's no way for a good ghost to act. She shouldn't hurt people. That ghost has some nerve. I'll show her that I'm a brave man. Talk is cheap. Let's go. I'm with you, Dr. Yang. And so, the game begins. Warlock Zone 1, Mystical Ghost. And from here, we are in the Zelda-style gameplay. Y and A let you attack, B let you jump. I'm pretty sure X does something, but I'm pretty sure we'll find that out later on. And that's pretty much all we know or need to know for right now. So let's go ahead and beat people up. Enemies will drop money. You want to pick up the money. This guy drops a fish. You want to make sure you don't get hit by the fish. And enemies will also drop lucky cats and scrolls. The scrolls, you need 10 of them for a jutsu shot. It will bring your POW meter up by 1 point. I will explain that later. And the lucky cats increase the effectiveness and range of your melee weapon. You can increase the quality of your weapon up to 2 times. And if you get hit, you do get your weapon downgraded, so don't let that happen. I definitely want to grind for money and weapons and scrolls. We don't need the scrolls now, but it still makes sense to get as many of them as possible. And if you need to know how many scrolls you have, you can always pause the game and look in the lower left-hand corner. Lower right if you're playing as Dr. Yang. Player 1 plays as Kid Ying, aka Goemon, and Player 2 plays as Dr. Yang, aka Ebisumaru. I'm going to be probably mixing the Western and Japanese names up a little bit. Mostly because everybody figured out what the Japanese names are thanks to the N64 game. And all of Player 1's information is in top left and bottom left. And all of Player 2's information is in the top right and bottom right. At the top of the screen, you have your current health. The red stuff is the stuff you have. The yellow stuff is the stuff you don't. Below that are your lives. Right now we have 2 lives. And to the right of that is the amount of power for the jutsu shots you have. That basically how many castings of the jutsu shot that you have. I will go into jutsu shots later on. And because we picked up money, we can press R1. Not R1. R. You can press R to switch between your melee weapon and your money. You can throw money at enemies, and while it obviously costs you money because you're throwing it at enemies, it does make for a good distance weapon. There are other weapons that we will pick up along the way, but for now, we need to make sure that we get things. And because I have picked up a Lucky Cat with a max power weapon, that'll just give me $10, which is the same as any of the coins that I pick up in the game. And if you run into a woman with a kimono on, she will give you $50. If you hit her with your melee weapon or any of your weapons, however, you will lose money. I believe you will lose 100. So don't hit them. Don't hit the ladies. Most of the enemies here, not that hard to deal with so far. The only real difficulty you're going to have is with the guys running around with the fish, because they will drop the fish. And the fish can be a little hard to hit, especially if you're not ready for them. And as you can see, it can be a little tricky to hit enemies with the yo-yo, but at least you have the best distance with the yo-yo. Also, we have a timer in the top center of the screen. It counts down from 1,000. We want to make sure that we use our time wisely. And I don't want to lose all of it. I mean, losing all of it will cause you to lose a life, obviously. But I do want to use the time to grind for money. And if I can meet beautiful women in kimonos to get more of it, so be it. The enemies and the people that you meet do have names. They're all in the manual, but I don't remember any of them offhand. But they do have names. Also, the fish disappear after a determinate length of time. Want to keep that in mind. And yeah, you don't... No! You don't want to run into any enemies because that will happen. Trying to stay away from the people with the fish. And I managed to get my hands on Lucky Cat there. Want to make sure that I do. Yeah, I do not want to fight the fish and the fishmen unless I have like a better weapon. You start with a pipe, then you get a longer pipe, and then you get the yo-yo. The yo-yo is Goemon's best weapon. And I'm at 1,000 or close to $1,000, so let's go ahead and buy things. And we have been welcomed to the store. We will pick things with B, and we will select things with the control pad. So control pad and B to move the cursor and buy things respectively. We're going to buy straw sandals twice. More speed. Best speed. If you get hit, you will lose one of your pairs of shoes. Pizza. I believe that refills your health in case you die. And bombs. That makes for a good weapon. We can switch to those with R. L does nothing, for those wondering. And we can press down or X to leave. I need to stop looking at my controller when I'm doing this. So now that I have much better speed and things that I can do, I'm going to go ahead and do them. And I'm going to go down here to show off more of the town. I need to go into the buildings too, first and foremost. In here is the fortune hut, but you won't be able to do anything until later. I am a fortune teller. I'll tell you. You are a hero of this story, aren't you? You will do a good job throughout your long journey. I'd better, otherwise this Let's Play isn't hitting the internet. And in here is a casino. But we can't do anything in here until later. We are not open yet. Please come later. And if we go down here, we can check out the travel agency. And there's a guy with cans, and there's a thief! The guys throwing the cans are the worst because, well, both of those enemies in particular are the worst. The guys throwing the cans, they can throw the cans at you, and they're pretty hard to hit with your weapon to get rid of them. You're better off just finding the guys throwing the cans from a distance. As for the guys, as for the thieves, rather, they will run at you. If they run into you, you lose $50. Beating them up won't get it back. You will have to grind that $50 back up. Also, the building we just entered is a travel agency, and we will have to go here later. Let us get away from this awful, awful corner that has the thieves. So, that way while we have to deal with the guys in the helmets, the guys with the spears, the fishmen, the samurai, the Ronin, actually. That's probably a better term for those guys, the Ronin. And I want to go ahead and beat these guys up for the money and get back up here. Now I want to show off the rest of these places. You enter doors, just walk into them. The ghost woman of Horo Temple is very strong. There must be a way to beat her. Sometimes you'll find stores, sometimes you'll meet other residents of the town who may or may not give you useful information. That guy will give you useful information. And if you go in here, I believe you talk to another resident. Hey, Kid Ying, did you know that there's a ghost in Horo Temple? That was not useful information. What makes you think I didn't know about the ghost? And if we go in here, which is where we started the game from, we just enter our house. It's empty. There's nothing to do here. No. And by going over here, we have a way of going further to the north, which I will take eventually. And there's another resident that we can talk to. Hello, Kid Ying. How are you? Yeah, some of it's just flavored text, but there are some residents, once again, who will give you useful information. If you talk to them, then you know where they are. And why? Why? Well, at least I had the pizza, but still, that's not what I wanted. Fighting with the yo-yo is not the best thing in the world. Sometimes you may think you may hit the enemy when you don't. And that was never fun for me. I need to get my shoes and my pizza back. Thankfully, I have the money. And yeah, let's buy all that back. It's a good thing I had the pizza, because I know that I'm seriously going to mess things up. And I want to fight for another lucky cat, and thankfully I got it. No. Ugh. Thankfully you can move in 8 directions. Sadly you can't. You can only attack in 4. And I wanted that lucky cat, but oh well. Let's go ahead and go to the north before more horrible things happen. A strange cloud is coming from the north. I'm scared. This woman will show up and talk to you only if you've explored the... Either you have to explore the town in detail or you don't, which means the part where you start and the part south of that. But if you go north, you'll talk to this woman. And after you talk to her, there's a fog, the human enemies get replaced, and we're now fighting ghosts. Fun. And this is an employment office, but we can't do anything because of the ghosts. With all the fuss over the ghosts, nobody's hiring. And we might as well leave, because there's nothing for us, at least not right now. And this place in particular is the candy shop. When we go in, we can buy some food. It's really more of a food shop. Welcome. Everything is delicious here. Would you like something to eat? Well, yes, because I need the health. The more something costs, the more energy you'll get. This soup gives you 2 units of energy. This, I want to say meat on a stick, gives you 4 units. And the sushi gives you 6. I'm just going to have the soup. And we have ghosts that fly around, jump around, only move diagonally. And if you hit this wall, if the enemy will let me, go away ghost. Right here, in this specific spot, you can hit the wall and get a Kid Dracula head that will give you $100. And in here is the secret maze, which I do want to play eventually. There are a lot of ghosts in the maze now. It's dangerous. Don't go in. We can't go in. We can't do this until after we beat the boss for this area. Horo Temple is where we need to go. And it is definitely a place where I am going to go. Stop. Great. I'm going to have to get my stuff back. Fine. I know. And yeah, all the enemies are just going to be terrorizing this place until you beat the ghost boss. And now I need shoes. Can I buy things? Yes, I can buy things. Good. And from here, I'm going back to the temple. Hopefully without running into things I don't want to run into. At least I'm getting used to fighting enemies in this game and just getting better at doing stuff overall. Yeah, I'll go ahead and refill the health because I know I'm going to need it. And I need to get to the temple. Yeah, the yo-yo itself has to touch the enemies. It can't be the string. Let's go in here. And let's talk to the Tanuki statue. This is dangerous territory. Be careful. This is the only thing the Tanuki will usually say. Proceed with caution. And we automatically head into the second part of this Warlock Zone, which is a side-scrolling area. And I am getting close to 20 minutes. As always, I will be playing 20 minutes per video, at least. And in the next video, trying to get the words out, I am going to go through the temple and face the ghost. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!